Hello everyone, this is Colin on the ASCA League channel, and here we are for the Pennzoil Pro Series for the second to last race of the season at Phoenix. We come in here with 5 chasers, hungry to try to make it to the final round at Armory Digital and secure their spot in the final 4 to race for the championship trophy that we get at the end of the season. Here are your drivers. In the point standings, you saw the top 5, Webster Zygarde, Michael Jones, Derek Petrie, Jay Barker, and Rick Witt, all fighting to keep their chase hopes alive. One of those drivers will be eliminated though, and we'll be down to final 4 for Armory Digital. Anyways, we still got a race to run here though at Phoenix. Here is your starting grid for today's race. Jay Barker comes in here 4th in points, and he'll start on the front row along with Jay Durrell. Row 2, Brian Lenning and Kyle Collins. Kyle just eliminated from the chase last week. Row 3, Michael Jones and Webster Zygarde, 2 chasers, and 1 and 2 in points. Row 4, Derek Petrie, another chaser, and Blaine Keys starting to his outside. Row 5, Daniel Voiles and Nick Purcell. Voiles looking to turn anything around and get some better results going for him. Row 6, Arsha Sane and Cody Russell. Row 7, the last chaser in the field and the guy that needs to make up the most points, Rick Witt, and starting to his outside, Jack Newman. Row 8, Sam Rogers and Kyle Singer from Big Motorsports. Row 9, Nikita Rizkov and Cesar Chavez, the 2 best drivers that never made the chase. Row 10, Zach Moskey's been doing pretty well recently, and Joseph Wrigley starting his outside. Row 11 has Zach Cars, one of the early dropouts of the chase, and Addison Steinbach. Row 12, Ryan Dunn and Jose Vaquez, Season 2 Rookie of the Year. Row 13, Brian Boone and Dion Scott, earlier was the chase leader. Row 14, Brock McMahon and Eric Willis from Malley Motorsports. Row 15, Carson Scott will not be returning next year, and Ryan Kendall to his outside. Row 16, Aaron Lukes, really far back for him, and Tony Green for Global Autosports. Row 17, Matthew Brown, last week's winner, and John Gilbert. Row 18, Allison Davidson for the Red Viper Racing Entry, and Nicholas Samudio for the single car race Red Raven Racing team. Row 19, Cole Baker and Stuart Gratton, Rookie of the Year competitors. Row 20, Daniel Maxwell and Jesse Dalton. Daniel just looking to finish a race here. And then the final row, row 21, James Johnson coming off a really good finish last week, and Tyler Selspin. Here are the people that did not qualify for the race, and we are just about set to go racing here at Phoenix. The pace car makes us dive down to pit road, and the field is getting up to the gears. Green flag is out, and we are racing here at Phoenix. Four wide out of turn number 1, and we have a battle for the lead now as 3rd place Brian Lenning has moved his Skittles Chevrolet up to the front row, and he is looking to get around Jay Barker. Off of turn 4 though, it looks like Barker will keep the lead, and talk about a power move by Lenning as he just drove right in there. He actually almost didn't. He almost got a little help from Barker himself, because Barker really threw it on down into turn 1 and really put Jay Durrell in a very compromisable spot. As you see him, he's battling on the outside. This is one of the tracks that you want to be on the outside, but there's still some hope. It's one of the tracks where it's not preferable, but you can still make it work if you really needed to. Jay Durrell trying to make it work early in the race. If you don't want to use up all your equipment, there's 70 laps in the show. You don't want to use up everything you have right at the start. See Kyle Collins here in the 83 car. He'll get around Jay Durrell. Kyle Collins, one of the dropouts from last week, along with his teammate Nick Purcell. He's looking to try to get a win before the season's over. And we also see behind him a few drivers who are still in the chase. The 47 of Michael Jones and your points leader Webster Zygarde. Jones just 1 point off Webster Zygarde, as this race could definitely be detrimental to either of these drivers' chances at going into Armory Digital, because while this is a race to decide who are the final 4, these 2 drivers are really close, and we got a car in the wall. That was Derek Petrie. How did he keep that car going straight? And that's a chaser right there. Derek Petrie 3rd in points, 15 markers off. Watch this replay. He's going to get hooked into the wall by his teammate Cody Russell. I don't know how he did not wreck there. He probably has some damage to his right front fender, but miraculously he kept it going straight. Oh boy, and Cody Russell probably had his heart stopped, because there's no way he wanted that to happen. I'm sure he wants to see his teammate go along with Zygarde to the championship 4, and he doesn't want to turn and end his own teammates' chase hopes. Like we saw actually earlier in the season with National Racing with Jack Newman. That wasn't pretty. Almost wasn't pretty with Big Motorsports, but definitely they dodged a bullet. You see Rick Witt, though, he's kind of made his way by, and he's kind of made his way up into the top 10. As you see, though, we had a problem in the back. It wasn't going to turn out much better for the 16 car, and Nikita Rizkov is going to get dumped in the wall and lose all of his ground that he had made up from the start. However, obviously, he took a little bit more damage than the 53 car and definitely lost a lot of track time, but no caution was actually flown for that incident. Getting back up to the front for a second after a lot of action going on in the backstretch, we see Webster Zygarde and probably Webster Zygarde to Jay Barker all have single filed out. Now it looks like Michael Jones is also going to break free. These drivers are just trying to log laps early on because as Jay Barker, where he's sitting, he's not in a safe spot to move on to the championship 4. So I wouldn't be too sure that he's just trying to play conservative, even though he is leading. He has a fast enough car to make it on in the next round. He just can't put himself in a position where he won't be able to move on. You see Nick Purcell's, he was one of the two drivers that dropped out last week, him and his teammate Kyle Collins. Nick Purcell's might have been in the final 5 if his engine had held up. Nick Purcell's lost an engine last week, dropping him out of the chase. Definitely hugely disappointing for that 00 team. Kyle Collins also pretty much took himself out of a championship hunt playoff position because of putting himself in the wall with Ryan Kendall earlier in the race. Obviously, though, the past is the past. You can't change it. But look at this battle. 3 wide. Looks like Srigley's trying to make it 4 wide. That's not going to work. He's going to hook his teammate. And Chavez is into the wall. And I don't know what happened there. Oh, man. And that was trying to go 4 wide down into turn 3. And I don't think there was any way that was going to work. And finally, we are going to see the caution flag after numerous close calls. And it's going to definitely hurt Cesar Chavez's chance of going 7 top 10s in a row. And it does not look like it's going to happen. And that, oh man, Addison Steinbach almost made it through. It was going to be a 1-car wreck, but just, I don't know how close he was to making it through that, but just a millisecond off, and he might have been able to pass Cesar Chavez. But anyways, after the wreck, the cars come down for pit stops and rejoin the track for the green flag. As you see, Nikita Rizkov is the only car off the lead lap. Everyone else was able to continue on. Cesar Chavez and Addison Steinbach. With damage, though, at the back of the pack, they still remained on the lead lap. Rizkov is 2 laps down after repairing damage under green he sustained while going up into the wall. However, Barker's going to have to navigate around him, and Brian Lenning's trying to come on through. I also see Kyle Collins back there almost getting held up by the 16. They've managed to repair that car to where he is in pretty stable condition up front, but it does appear he just isn't quite as fast because he's on the inside. He should be making the pass in some of these guys if he had an up-to-speed car. Looking back, though, in the field, you see Daniel Voiles looking to make his way up through here. Recently announced, Voiles may not be returning to this team. The third-year driver for Red Viper Racing, one of the longest-lasting relationships in the series, may be coming to an end, mainly due to his poor performance because he did not make the chase this year, and for being a third-generation driver, that's not too good. So it's not unreasonable to see him possibly being ejected from this ride at the end of the year. Don't know where he'll be going, though, if that indeed happens. You see the 41 car of Cole Baker back here. Rookie of the Year has pretty much been all wrapped up. Baker has really kind of pulled a lead over the rest of his competitors, and making it into this race, he's going to be picking up some points. He pretty much just needs to start at Armory Digital, and he'll pretty much take the Rookie of the Year points championship, I believe, at least. I don't think that anyone else can make up that many points, but obviously it is possible, so maybe he does want to go up and actually battle for the win. Like everyone else is down on the track, though, because he still wants to get a win before he ends up leaving the series at the end of the year. Looking at John Gilbert, he's having a pretty good run in that 04 car. The Hoffman Motorsports camp, we were looking at Blaine Keys earlier. He was the only driver to make the chase for Hoffman Motorsports, but John Gilbert has had a horrible season on the other hand in that same equipment. But currently he's having a turnaround race right now. He's inside the top 15, which is not too bad. But obviously one of the big stories that have been circulating the past few weeks is this team, Knight Racing, is going to be merging with Hoffman Motorsports to make Knight Hoffman Racing. They are expected to be a flagship team because Arsha Sane looks to be joining them, as well as Jack Porkins, which is a driver from the Copper and Armory Series looking to make his way up to the Pennzoil Pro Series for next season, also racing for the championship, as well as a few others trying to join the team. So we're going to have to see exactly if they end up proving to be a force for the championship next season. Ford really hasn't had a stable team to go out and fight for the championship. Obviously, as we're looking at Blaine Keys, he's having an excellent run right now in 3rd place. We've seen this many times from this 60 car. He just needs some teammates that can, run well up in front with them. And I think if they can get some good power into the team, I think Arsha Sane has really not shown what he's capable of. His stats do not reflect it. I think Arsha Sane could definitely be a really good asset to the team and really prove to help Knight Hoffman Motorsports along. But as we see on the right side of the screen, you see your halfway report coming across the screen. Already halfway in the 78-lap race, Jay Barker continues to lead as he has stretched a huge gap over Kyle Singer, who's made it up to 2nd. However, you see a couple cars coming down pit road. The 77 car, actually, I believe there's a problem on that car, but the 16, this is scheduled because he came down to pit road 2 laps earlier than the leaders. So he'll be off schedule just a little bit, almost to try to show us when these cars are going to come down pit road. And as you see, scheduled pit stops happen as Kyle Singer came in first and everyone else is coming in afterwards. Ooh, Barker going to get held up a little bit there coming off of pit road. And as we see the cycle of pit stops come back around, that will affect him as we have a new leader, Kyle Singer, although I believe Jay Barker actually slipped in his pit stall. I don't know what the problem was, but he has fallen back outside the top 5 at least. We're looking at Kyle Collins. He's in 2nd now after the pit stops. And yeah, these pit stops have really jumbled up the field. This is Jay Barker. He's sitting back here in 9th. So Barker fallen all the way back. You saw he had actually a really big lead. But now he is on the verge of going outside the top 10. And, we haven't talked about the points battle in a little bit. Let's bring it back up again. Barker 4 points ahead of Rick Witt. Rick Witt is the driver that they're trying to beat. You saw Rick Witt in the frame there. He's back in 16th position. That is not too far from Barker's location. If Barker ends up slipping again in pit stops, Rick Witt might be able to take over Barker's spot in the championship 4. And Witt obviously has not had a good day all day. He's been outside the top 20 a few times, but has managed to rally back towards inside the top 20. As we see Webster Zygarde, though, he has fallen deep into the field. That's not what your points leader wanted to see because he wanted to try to gap some of these guys going into Armory Digital. The last driver that definitely had a really big scare early in the race, Derek Petrie, he is still running pretty well. You see him battling with Arsha Sane as well as Rick Witt, another fellow chaser, trying to battle for the top 15, and currently that will be able to get him on into the final round, I believe, as it stands right now. But looking up front, we have a pretty intense battle. Here's Jose Vaquez, showing some speed that we haven't seen out of him so far this year, as well as Daniel Voiles, who's continuing to move his way up through the field. I also see Lenning, who started off the race so strong in 2nd place, however slipped just a little bit. Also in front, Jack Newman has made his way up to 3rd, Kyle Collins in 2nd, and the other Kyle Singer, still leading the race in that 11 car. Remember this driver from last week, the impressive rookie James Johnson, who finished 2nd, a career best for him? Well, he's having another fantastic run today. He's trying to look his way inside the top 15, and while top 15 may not seem the best, for this small team and how his season has gone, he is coming alive right when it counts. James Johnson, who started on the final row, has moved his way inside the top 15. That is an incredible performance out of the Waste Management Dodge, and definitely that's probably turning some heads because maybe this kid's got some strength that's just not being able to be shown through his team and his equipment. Although as we see the laps wind down, we are under 10 to go. Now it's time to get serious because I saw a driver come down pit road. That was Nikita Rizkov, and you know what that means. Pit stops are about to happen. Kyle Singer, He was one of the first drivers to come in on the first round of green flag pit stops, and it looks like that will be the case. Currently, Singer radioing to his team that he'll be coming down next time by. Kyle Collins, though, it's going to be the strategy game. Can Kyle Collins beat Singer off of pit road? You see Singer coming down with 5 to go. And now Collins is going to come down the lap after. Daniel Voiles is going to decide to stay out. Could pit strategy fall into hand here? Has anyone been saving fuel? I see Jose Vaquez staying out. We're going to watch the pit road cam. That was Daniel Voiles going by. I think that was Lenning. No, that was Purcell's going by. Derek Petrie, a chaser. He could benefit from this if he's able to stay out. Oh, and Voiles is going to give up the lead. Nick Purcell's is going to stay out an extra lap. Derek Petrie is going to come down low, and it looks like everybody else is going to retire to pit road, except for 2 cars. We have 2 drivers staying out, but they have both come to pit road. Nick Purcell's and John Gilbert have both come to pit road, so this is the white flag, and Kyle Singer is going to take over the lead of the race. Kyle Collins was not able to gain anything on pit road, but Daniel Voiles has rallied to second place with his pit gamble. Staying out a few extra laps has gotten himself up to the second position, but it is not going to get him up to the lead. Singer, who's coming alive after Barker relieved his spot of the lead. It looks like Kyle Singer is going to go to victory lane. Checkered flag for him as he's going to take his second career victory at Phoenix. His first came in Season 1, which was his first career victory back when he was racing for Rascal Racing. He's coming a long way. He may not be in the chase, but this win is definitely sweet for that 11 team. And while it's a big motorsports victory, it does not fall into Zygarde or Petrie's hands. However, Petrie does have a pretty good finish in 6th place. Zygarde, though, however, has fallen way down the board. Other chasers to look at here, Barker will finish a solid 10th. I believe that will beat out Rick Witt. That definitely will beat out Rick Witt's 17th. Just not able to get a solid run together for Witt when he really needed it. You also saw Michael Jones was 19th on the board. I believe that'll be enough to keep him in as well. No major catastrophes for chasers, and that will secure the top 4 into the chase, and Rick Witt will drop out as the last driver to miss out on the championship 4. As you see, Derek Petrie goes into the championship 4 in the lead, with Michael Jones 2nd, Webster Zygarde has fallen to 3rd, and Barker, which is the long shot, is in 4th. But remember, last year, Jay Durrell was the long shot, and he won the championship. But that will all be decided next week at the final race of Season 3, Armory Digital. We'll see you all then.